today we're in a bit of a different setting, i.e. my bedroom, and I wanted to discuss with you what is wrong with good gear. And before you head off saying, oh yeah, we all know that story is the key, this is not what I wanted to talk to you about. What I wanted to talk about is what you should keep in mind before you get all happy and decide to spend your life savings on gear that you don't need. I have a lot of people coming to me telling me that I should do videos about gear, and I too watch a lot of videos about gear. But I know those kind of videos, to a lot of people, including me sometimes, makes them feel inadequate. Because a lot of times you see gear reviews or gear videos of things that you can't really afford, or things that you can't buy, or that you know that you don't need but you would want. So it ends up making you feel inadequate, and I didn't want that from this channel. That's why a lot of other filmmaking channels decide not to talk about gear. When you buy a new camera, a new lens, or a new piece of equipment, you need to think about whether you can justify that expense. And what do I mean by justifying that expense? I mean, can you actually realistically pay that camera off within a few shoots? Most beginner filmmakers can't. A lot of times the cameras you see on high-end productions, whether it's commercials, Hollywood productions, they're most likely rented. There's a lot of rental houses. There's probably a lot of rental houses wherever you are. If there aren't, there's this website that I use called Fat Llama. I mean, there's no sponsor, but these are places where you can rent your gear, and a lot of times there isn't a need to buy that kind of gear. There are cinematographers which earn Arri Alexas, Reds, etc., but they work on big productions and they know that they can make back the money that they spend on their cameras within less than half a year. And if you really want to spend money on gear, then invest money on lighting. Lighting is probably one of the most important aspects of any kind of imagery. With lighting you can control everything, and it's not about the biggest camera or the most resolution. And as you go on with your filmmaking career, you kind of understand that you'd want a camera that meets your needs most, the kind of thing that you want to do. So it's not about the pixels, it's not about the amount of pixel, because a good image isn't a good image based on the quality. It's a good image based on the meaning it has and on the story you're trying to tell, and if it fits. If you're just gonna get a good camera and shoot futile footage that you don't need, you're just gonna have a bunch of clips that don't make sense. And you're trying to make a story, because story is important, people. And I know I've said it a lot, but that is the case. On a technical level, to get experience, it is important to learn about cameras, and it is important to learn how to operate these kind of cameras. Rent these cameras, play with them a bit so that you can learn the mechanics of it, so that maybe when you go on set, you have that kind of experience and you know what you're doing. Or rent them for jobs. I rent a lot of cameras for jobs. Actually, the things that you're going to use most in your filmmaking career are the kind of things that you bought that you thought you'd never, like, the things you least wanted to buy. Tripods are probably the most underrated piece of equipment that there is, because no one really wants to spend £1,000 on a good tripod, because there's a lot of other good things to do with £1,000. So I hope this video was useful. It was maybe a bit of a rant from my side, but I just needed to get it clear, because a lot of people feel, as I said at the start, inadequate when they see videos on cameras that they can't afford. And I do too. I spend hours looking at filmmaking gear that I know I don't need, and I know I can't buy at that moment. Think about whether you need it or not, and practice. If you're a good filmmaker, if you want to become a good filmmaker, then you can do with what you have. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it was useful, and I'm gonna go have my lunch now. Keep creating.